Hello everyone, this is Brett. Today's video I'm going to be discussing 14 of my most anticipated album releases of the first 4 months of 2024. These are releases that already have a date set, they have pre-orders up, so if you want to investigate them further, if you need to see a list of it, there will be a link in the description that takes you over to the Life on This Planet blog where I will have the album cover, the title, and then a link for it if you want to investigate further. Also, if there's anything that that you are excited about that I haven't mentioned, please leave a comment. And if you are new to my channel, of course, please hit that subscribe button. So let's get started. January 26th, which is actually next Friday, as of the time I'm filming this video, we're going to get the 16th album from one of my favorites, a band that I've talked about extensively on the channel, New Model Army from Bradford, England. Their first studio album since 2019's From Here, which was a favorite of that year. They also released in 2023, actually November, just a couple of months ago, what you see over my shoulder, Sinfonia, which is a triple album that was recorded live with the Leipzig Orchestra in Germany, redoing songs from the New Model Army catalog, supplemented by an orchestra. I talked about that and showed it in my Best Albums of 2023 feature as an honorable mention. New Model Army, kind of hard to really pigeonhole them into any type of style, but if you're a fan of post-punk, maybe folk rock, things that come to mind, U2's War album, maybe the Waterboys, even things like Bruce Springsteen, just really sincere, great lyrics, intense, great band. So 2 singles have already been released. First Summer After, really good, and then Coming or Going, which just came out today. So that is New Model Army with Unbroken coming out on January 26th. Also on that same day, we're going to be seeing a reissue of the Darling Buds' third and final album, Erotica, which originally came out back in 1992. Very difficult to find on vinyl. Music on vinyl, I've also discussed that label before and shown a lot of releases. They do a really good job. High quality jacket. Usually their pressings are top notch. They're doing a limited of 750, so be sure to jump on this if you want to get a copy. And it's on like a translucent yellowish gold. The Erotica album had a song that was popular on alternative radio back then, Long Day in the Universe, which is just an outstanding track. I'll just show you their second album, Crawdaddy, that came out before Erotica. So recommended if you like bands like the Bangles, Belly, Lush, Blondie, Veruca Salt, and perhaps the most kind of comparable touchstone would be the Primitives, alternative jangle pop, great band. I talked about them in my most recent video before this one, and it showed a 5-disc box set that came out on Cherry Red, collecting all their material over the years. So excited about that one, the Darling Buds with the Erotica reissue. Coming up on February 9th, the second album from the San Francisco trio, Topographies. Their debut came out a couple of years ago. This was called Ideal Form. And Dark Entries is going to be releasing their second album, Interior Spring. Recommended if you like, I think of like early Cure, so the sound really reminds me of like Faith, 17 Seconds, and even the original member of the Cure, Lowell Tolhurst, his son Gray, is in Topographies. 2 singles have been released so far, Chain of Days, Night Sea. They sound very promising. So yeah, that'll be the second album from Topographies on February 9th. February 23rd, the 9th album from Modern English called 1, 2, 3, 4 on going to be released on In Kind music label. It's their first album since 2016's Take Me to the Trees. Modern English, most people know them from I Melt With You, but I encourage you to check out a lot of their work. And Take Me to the Trees was another favorite from the year it came out. Really excellent stuff. There's been 3 singles that have been released from 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. Long in the Tooth, Crazy Lovers, Not My Leader just came out today. I've been enjoying all 3 tracks. Classic alternative, post-punk, Modern English. 1, 2, 3, 4 coming out on February 23rd. Also on February 23rd, we're going to get a reissue of Bill Fay Group's Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. So I've talked about Bill Fay a lot in the past. 2012's Life is People was my favorite album of that year. I've recommended it to many, many people. I think it should be in everyone's record collection. Bill Fay, if you're unfamiliar with that name, he released a couple albums, 1970-71, got dropped from the record label and just went completely dormant and didn't really release a studio album of new material since in like 40 years, so 2012. But back in 78 to 81, he did record a bunch of songs that didn't get released until 2005, and then a vinyl version of it in 2006. But it was truncated. There was only 13 songs on it. So the Dead Ocean label is restoring all 22 songs and releasing it on February 23rd. Recommended if you like things like maybe John Lennon, Wilco. Now, Wilco, you can so hear the influence that Bill Fay had on Jeff Tweedy. In fact, on Life is People, there was a cover of Jesus, Etc. of Wilco. I think Jeff Tweedy is even on the song. If you like Nick Drake, if you like Scott Walker, if you like Elliott Smith, I think Bill Fay is in your wheelhouse. And one of the songs that didn't appear on the original release has been released to streaming, called After the Revolution. So that's Bill Fay Group with Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. And the reissue is going to have a completely different cover than what you're seeing here. All right, on March 8th is like going to be a really good day because there's a few things. We're going to get the 8th album from the Scottish group, the Jesus and Mary Chain, Glass Cow Eyes. It's going to be on Cooking Vinyl and Fuzz Club. Their first album since 2017's Danger and Joy. And their second album since reforming. There's been 2 singles so far, JAMCOD, and then Chemical Animal. Chemical Animal has me really excited about this album. It sounds excellent. And both tracks, interesting, feature some kind of compelling synth textures in there. So I'm really looking forward to the kind of the cohesion of this album. Jesus and Mary Chain have been around so long, so most of you are probably unfamiliar, but let me just give you 3 recommended if you like, because the couple songs, the first song on this one, especially JMCOD, made me think of like early 90s goo kind of dirty era Sonic Youth. So Sonic Youth, recommended if you like the Pixies, recommended if you like Echo and the Bunnymen maybe. So Jesus and Mary Chain, new album is called Glasgow Eyes. March 8th, we are going to get a reissue on the BMG label of another group that I've talked about extensively, the Virgin Prunes, the Irish post-punk, art rock, dark cabaret, goth, experimental, very hard to categorize, Virgin Prunes. So A New Form of Beauty, parts 1 through 4 are going to get a triple LP release and a 2 CD set. A New Form of Beauty originally came out in 4 separate releases on the Rough Trade label back in 1981. The first part was on a 7-inch, the second part was on a 10-inch, then a 12-inch, and then a cassette, so just kind of utilizing all the formats of the time. So this will be all collected there. Virgin Prunes, as I mentioned, very hard to describe, but if you like Wire, if you like The Birthday Party or early Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and are unfamiliar with the Virgin Prunes, check them out. In this release, there's going to be some new artwork, sketches, liner notes, things like that. On streaming, there's an advanced single, which is a 2024 remix of the song Sweet Home Under White Clouds, which many will know it from their debut album, If I Die, I Die, which I did a Friday on the Turntable feature on this record. Back in 1982. I did a feature at least 10 years ago on the channel. So anyways, this 2024 remix has what sounds like a whole new vocal recording of Gavin Friday in that just real deep, rich spoken word style that he has. It's a captivating version, but unfortunately it appears like that's only going to be available on the CD version. So I don't know what that's all about, but definitely check out that advanced single. Yeah, so Virgin Prunes, A New Form of Beauty, 1 through 4, out on March 8th. Also on March 8th, we are going to get on the Sacred Bones label a collection of early singles from 1981 to 82 from Xmal Deutschland, the German goth rock post-punk group that started out on 4AD, released 2 albums. Here's their debut, Fetish or Fetish, and I have, you can barely see it, but their second album, Toxins, back there. Originally 4 albums before they called it a day, I think back in 1990. So Sacred Bones is compiling tracks that were on their first 2 singles along with an extra live song, and releasing it as early singles 81 to 82. If you're unfamiliar with Xmal Deutschland, I would say think of maybe Garland's first album, Cocteau Twins, mixed with some early Susie and the Banshees and Bauhaus maybe. Sung in German, really great stuff. And then on the same day, Sacred Bones is releasing the debut solo album from Xmal's vocalist Anja Huwe called Codes. The single Ruben Schwartz is incredibly exciting, and it's got me so excited about this album. It's upbeat, driving, the production is gritty, the drums are heavy, so definitely seek that as well. Both of those I instantly pre-ordered right when I saw the announcement for it, but that is Anja Huwe, Codes. March 8th, both of those will be coming out. All right, on March 22nd, we're going to get the 6th album from Waxahatchee. Waxahatchee is the project of the artist Katie Crutchfield. Back in 2017, she released Out in the Storm, which was my favorite album of that year. I haven't kept up on any of her releases except this one. For some reason, this album really caught me in that year, and just absolutely listened to it a ton. I saw her back when she opened for Future Islands, maybe back in 2013, 2014, and I just didn't check anything out until this came out, and was pretty blown away by it. So she's released an album since then, an album or 2 since then, but Tiger's Blood is the new one on the Anti label. There's an advanced single called Right Back to It, which is beautifully addictive, and hearing that is what got me really interested again. Great vocal harmonies, just this rolling groove with some banjo picking in the background. Recommended if you like, let's say, Jenny Lewis, Angel Olsen, Sharon Van Etten, Lucinda Williams. So indie, folk, alt country. Waxahatchee, Tiger's Blood, coming out on March 22nd. March 29th is going to give us the 7th album and the 3rd one since reforming from the band Ride. This was 2019, their most recent album, This Is Not a Safe Place. It's going to be out on Wichita Recordings. There's a lead single called Peace Sign, which I've really been enjoying. Recommended if you like things like Slowdive, Jesus and Mary Chain, maybe Suede, My Bloody Valentine. Ride gets kind of lumped in with the shoegaze movement, but they're kind of not, you can't really just pigeonhole them to that. There's elements of dream pop, Brit pop, just alternative rock, just whatever. Ride's a great band, and their new album is called Interplay, and it comes out on March 29th. April 5th, we're going to get the 6th album from Still Corners on Wrecking Light Records. Their first album since 2021 is The Last Exit. I caught Still Corners when I was in Leipzig, Germany performing, and I walked over and saw them, and their set was really, really good. Recommended if you like things like Beach House, Cigarettes After Sex, Hatchie, even Lana Del Rey. But I think a really good touchstone is think of the music to Chris Isaak's Wicked Game. That's the vibe to me of Still Corners. And there's this an advanced single called Secret World that you can check out. So yeah, put them in the dream pop realm, but that is Still Corners. Their new album is going to be called Dream Talk, out on April 5th. Next up is we're going to get the 5th album from the Houston, Texas, mostly instrumental soul, funk, dub, psychedelic trio known as Khruangbin. A La Sala on the Dead Oceans label. There's an advanced single, A Love International. which is more of what they do. Just great soulful music. Their most recent release was a collaborative album with View Farka called Ali. And the advanced single, definitely check that out. Really hard to kind of pin these guys down in their style, but just great chill music to put on. Khruangbin. New album is called Ala Sala. Okay. And lastly, another band I talk about practically every other video, the 17th studio album from one of my favorite groups of all time, the Manchester group James. They're putting out an album called Yummy. Not a fan of the title, but I'm really digging the lead single, Is This Love, which kind of gives me vibes of the Hey Ma era James, when they first reunited after their kind of hiatus. Their first album since 2021's All the Colors of You, so definitely check that one out. Most of these albums I'll be talking about once they arrive and I get them, but yeah, 14 albums. I can't recall a year in recent memory where there's been this many things coming out early in the year that I've been really excited about. So let me know what you guys are excited about, things that I showed, maybe things that I didn't talk about, and I look forward to your comments. And be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.